Hey, it's Lauren. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I am going to be demoing and reviewing, just generally talking about the new Kosas foundation, the Revealer Skin Improving Foundation with SPF 25. I'm just gonna go ahead and hop into applying it and talking about it, putting it on my face, and then I'll kind of like walk through other things about it. But yes, I'm gonna zoom this in really close. Let's get really close to my skin. So I have nothing on my face except for skincare and SPF right now. So you can really see what we're working with. For those that are new to my channel or just don't know, I'm 35. I have kind of combo skin. It's gone through a lot of changes. I'm dealing with postpartum skin issues, melasma. I have sunspots. I got redness, I still get breakouts, so got a combo of things. So just kind of letting you know what I'm coming into this with. And you can see all of that really close, so you can get a really good idea of what this foundation can and cannot cover. I'm filming in front of a window, so there is daylight, but then I have off to my side a ring light on very low just to give some like fill light so it's not too shadowy since the sun is going in and out. It's a lot of blurb, but I think it's important to know since, you know, video is video. You can't really tell. There's only so much that can be told and seen and whatnot. Anyways, let's hop into it. I picked this up in the shade 140. This is light neutral. Light with subtle and pink undertones. I have a habit of picking things that are way too light and then it being an issue. My skin, I used to be able to like wear some of the lightest foundations, but with age and sun damage and whatnot, oh, there's my dogs. I found that being more in the light family works better for me. So this foundation, it is a medium coverage foundation, and I have found it to be very buildable. So I'm gonna go in directly, you know, no, let's put a full pump on the back of my hand. And I'm gonna demo putting it on in a couple ways. So I'm just gonna first use my finger, spread that out. Just going in with a light layer to start. There we go. There it is. Just like that. And now I'm gonna take a brush, using the Rose Ink foundation brush. I'm gonna pick this up. There it is, applied with the brush. And then here it is, just very quickly done with my finger. Go ahead and on the brush side, go in with a second layer, just to show how very buildable this is. Okay, so I've liked using both my hands and a brush. Really liking using a brush. I'm actually really enjoying this brush from Rose Ink. So I'm gonna go in now and do a full kind of like 1.5 pumps, kind of build it up a little bit, coverage of it. I'm gonna take a damp beauty sponge to go in and even it all out. Okay, so here it is, all blended. I'd say I did about 2 light layers. This is definitely a foundation you could build up even more. It builds pretty well on top of itself. I did go in with a damp beauty sponge to even things out, and that does really affect the luminosity of it. If I was to just use my hands and a brush, it wouldn't be quite as glowy as it is right now because I just went in with a damp beauty sponge, which also did, you know, whenever you go in with a damp sponge, it kind of takes a little bit away of the product, so it's not as full coverage as it could be if I had just used my fingers. So I'm gonna come back in just a couple minutes after it's kind of set down because it does set a bit on its own. All right, a few minutes have passed, 5 or 6, something like that. I did my brows very quickly using appropriately the Kosas brow gel and also this Essence brow pen. But here it is after a few minutes. I didn't powder and it gets kind of like a powdery look to it. Like it looks like it's been powdered down, not in like a bad way, but just in like a set way. Like I definitely find that this foundation does set. And it does, you know, go into line. What foundation, what product doesn't go into lines? If you have lines, then things are gonna go into them. So, you know, my forehead has been moving, so things have been going on. I didn't mention what I prepped my skin with, which I had meant to. I'm not wearing any primer, but I did my skincare routine and kind of like the most things that would make any sort of difference in terms of skin prep were these Jordan Samuel products, the Hydrate Face Serum and the Soothing Face Oil, and then my sunscreen, the Supergroup Unseen Sunscreen, which kind of acts a little bit like a primer in itself. But yeah, here it is. I've worn this foundation about 5 times now, and I would say it's definitely very adaptable to the types of products that you put on underneath in terms of primers. Like I've worn it, I tried it with the Say primer and the Glossier Future Dew, and so, you know, to add like a bit of luminosity to it. So it definitely is malleable like that. I'm gonna go do the rest of my makeup and then talk about the rest about this. BRB. And here's how it looks with a full face of makeup minus highlighter, because that would really alter the finish that the foundation has. But I did not use like powder or anything to set it down. Yeah. Yeah, I like the little look it came up with, except I kind of struggle with my eyeliner. On my face, if you're curious, the eyes, I have the Roen Gold Lush palette and the 3CE multicolor eye palette in Delightful. This is kind of as my base, and then a mix of these toppers on my cheek, Tower 28 in Magic Hour. Oh yeah, the Wonder Beauty mascara on my lips. This Kiko liner, lip pencil in the shade 534, and the Sunny's Face lip treat in Juice. And then my eyeliner is this one from Physicians Formula in Brown. Kind of struggling a little bit with this one, so if you have a liquid liner that you really like, let me know. I love the Tom Ford one. It wasn't in the mood for black, but this is so expensive, you know, obviously I want something a little bit more affordable. Anyways, let's zoom out and talk more about this foundation. Yeah, I really like it. This is about the 5th time. I think it's at least the 5th time that I've worn it. I got it over a week ago now. The first time I wore it, I tried to do like a first impressions wear test, which footage of that was horrible, but I did have like a super long day wearing it, and it still looked halfway decent towards the end of the day. I think I had it on for over 10 hours. It has an 8-hour wear time claim, and I did have, I was doing a bunch of stuff that required wearing masks. This was the mask that I was wearing for the majority of the day. And it does have some transfer on it. I had to switch masks because I went to the doctor's office and they wanted me to wear a mask that they provided. And you can see there's sort of minimal transfer. I didn't powder or use any sort of setting sprays when I wore it that time either. So yeah, that's not bad. Granted, you know, it's just touching this part. And it did have some transfer and some move, but not bad, not bad. So this foundation I'm really loving. I don't know if I've said that yet. I really like it. I'd say it really has Lancome Teint Idole vibes to it, where it is very malleable, where you can really work with it to get it how you want it. If you want it to be very sheer, or if you want it to have a lot of coverage. Oh, I didn't go in with any concealer, so if there's anything poking through, this is all just the foundation in terms of coverage. Yeah, so it's very malleable. It plays really well with different primers that I've tried so far. Has a pretty good wear time. I haven't taken any flash photography, but it does claim it doesn't have a flashback, so I'd be curious to see how this would do for events and things like that. It's a mineral sunscreen, which I like because I do have a tendency to break out on occasion with chemical sunscreen. So yeah, reef safe because it is a mineral sunscreen. Yeah, very kind of in that sort of OG type of foundations, like Estee Lauder Double Wear, kind of workhorse foundation vibes that I'm getting from this. Interesting to see how Kosas has really rebranded over the last few years. They've definitely kind of gone with this more Gen Z color sort of packaging, using the, I think this is called Gen Z Yellow. They use this and also Lilac, which are like the two marketing colors for Gen Zers. So they've definitely revamped versus when they first launched, they had that sort of black with white lettering packaging that very popular with millennials in terms of like marketing towards. So they're definitely with the times, and then also being marketed as like makeup for skincare freaks. So it has a lot of skincare sort of claims and benefits in it. Can't really speak to any of that helping my skin yet, but I do like that it has certain ingredients that I like in it. Like it has B5, it has niacinamide, it's got peptides in it, has caffeine, as well as hyaluronic acid. So most of those are like things that I use in my skincare routine already. So we'll see if that helps. Granted, I don't go to my makeup to help with my skin, but we'll see if that like helps in any way over time. I doubt I'll be able to see anything though from that. But the finish in regards to the claims I like. It's labeled as a natural finish, and I think also a radiant finish. I would say in the world of like maybe older school, how things were marketed, it's more of like a satin finish. I think satin and matte have gotten kind of like very much harping back to like maybe old school terms, and so they're not like things that people want to hear when they're marketed at, because they probably think of something like 2012 sort of makeup that is not in vogue at the moment. But it's not dewy. It definitely can look dewy with how you play with it, but it is definitely more of a natural sort of satin finish. And then lastly, sort of compared to how the Tinted face oil, so both of these are labeled as medium coverage. The Tinted face oil is much more liquidy. So I believe this is shade 4 of the Tinted face oil, and then this is 140. So very different products and finishes. Be curious to see what Kosas comes out with next. They seem to be pretty on the trend and creating interesting formulas. I'd like to see a liquid eyeliner from them. I know eyeliner is like so popular right now. That kind of like goes in waves. Not that liquid eyeliner ever went out of vogue, but with like the rise of like euphoria looks and things like that, I could see them coming out with some sort of new spin on a liquid liner. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video and it was helpful. It's probably very rambly, but yeah, let me know what else you'd like to see from me. Would a full face of Kosas be interesting? Would a full face of any brand be interesting? Let me know, and I'll see you in the next one.